Okay, hello everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about bacterial growth in petri dishes using two different types of household cleaners. This is what I did for my experiment. All right, so the purpose of this experiment was to determine whether or not the cleaning product, such as Miss Myers, is going to be as effective as let's say, a Lysol disinfectant wipe. As you may know, right now it's very difficult to find these disinfecting wipes. So I wanted to determine if an alternative and more available cleaning product is going to be as equally as effective. So I hypothesized that the disinfectant wipe, the Lysol wipe, is going to leave behind less bacteria than wiping an area down with the Miss Myers cleaning product. So to do this, I bought a set of petri dishes off of Amazon, pretty easy to find. Then I wiped my floor with a disinfectant wipe. I swabbed the area, and then I did the exact same thing with the Miss Myers on an area that was very close to the first swab. I did this on my floor, on my wood floor. Then I swabbed an area of my floor that hadn't been cleaned by either of the cleaners, and I used that as my control. And then I, swabbed the swabs in the petri dish. Anyway, after a few days, my hypothesis was supported. The dish swabbed with Lysol showed significantly less bacterial growth. However, the bacterial growth on the bare floor was significantly higher than the other two dishes. So, this tells me that the Miss Myers, it's not labeled as a disinfectant, but hey, it works. So, anyways, as I was saying, I did hypothesize that if I disinfect an area with the Lysol wipes, that at the end of 7 days, there's going to be less bacterial growth in my petri dishes than if I were to, than the area that was cleaned with the Myers cleaning solution. Um, Miss Myers, they don't claim to be disinfecting, and I'm certainly would never claim that they would destroy the COVID-19 bacteria. But I will say that the Miss Myers did destroy some of the bacteria. I mean, after 7 days, there was less bacteria from this swab than on this area swabbed on the bare floor. So that's still pretty good to know, I think. So this lab was mainly about the effectiveness of two different cleaning products and their relation um, to their effectiveness at destroying the bacteria. So as I mentioned, I conducted an experiment. I've created my hypothesis, and then I did the actual experiment. My independent variable in this was the two different types of cleaning products that I use, and the dependent variable was the amount of bacterial growth after 7 days. Again, as I mentioned, I hypothesized that after 7 days, there'll be less bacterial growth than using the Lysol wipes. I'm sure you guys have heard their claims. They destroy 99.999% of bacteria. Again, Miss Myers, they don't claim to be disinfecting. However, I prefer their products. They're a little bit more eco-friendly. They don't test on animals. They use recyclable packaging, and honestly, I like the smell. So, all right. So as mentioned, I did try to make this an experiment as much as I possibly could. Of course, it's a little bit more difficult right now that we're not in a lab setting. But anyway, my first step in my experiment was I asked the question whether or not the Lysol products would be more effective than Miss Myers. I then constructed my hypothesis, which again, if a surface is cleaned with Lysol disinfecting wipes, I believe that there will be a significantly lower amount of bacterial growth compared to that of Miss Myers. So I bought some petri dish set off of Amazon. It's actually pretty easy to find. I swabbed, again, my areas of my floor. Then I swabbed the area that hadn't been cleaned, and I used that as my control. Now, I'm not a microbiologist. I'm not perfect with my swabs. Apparently, there's some kind of an art to it. But I don't know. I did my best. So, after taking my swabs and lining my petri dishes with the swabs, I labeled them. I set them upside down. You're supposed to do that so that you can prevent mold from growing. And I put them in a room that was 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason for this is because that's kind of a good temperature for bacteria to grow. Ideally, it would be like 75 degrees Fahrenheit, but it just wasn't really possible for me. Let's see. I checked the temperature every few days. I checked the box once or twice just to make sure everything was going as it should. And then after 7 days, I took the dishes out and I analyzed the growth of each dish. All right, so as you can see, the going from left to right, we have the bare floor, the Miss Meyers, and then we have the Lysol wipe. So obviously, a bare floor, you can see a significantly more amount of bacteria. I will say too, there's some mold growing on here. I'm honestly not 100% sure if that was from my swabs or if that was just due to, you know, humidity and just build up in that. I don't really know that for sure. Okay, so starting off with the bare floor, I believe that should be about 8 bacterial colonies in there. There could be more, there could be less. It's kind of hard to tell. Each bacterial colony, they would have different shapes. They have different colors. They have different ways that they're patterned around the petri dish. But anyway, as you guys can see, we have colony number 1, which is pretty translucent. It's irregularly shaped, and the growth formation is pretty circular throughout the plate. Now, on colony 2, let's see, they're small and circular, again, located throughout the whole plate. Now, colony 3, on the other hand, is larger than colony 2. It's more dark, and again, it's evenly spread throughout the plate. Now, colony 4 looks, again, like colony 2, but the orange color is only seen a few times. It's darker orange that's only seen a few times throughout the plate. Colony 5 looks similar, again, to colony 2, but colony 5 is a little bit more white. Colony 6 is much darker than colony 4. It's only seen twice on the plate. Now, colony 7, it's darker, it's got a more yellow center to it, and it's seen mostly on the left side of the plate. And colony 8, it could be the same as colony 7, I don't really know, but it looks a little bit different because there's no orange tint to this one. All right, so moving on to the Miss Meyers Petri dish. I suspect that there's only about 5 bacterial colonies. All of these colonies look pretty similar to the ones that were found on plate 1. Colony 1 on this plate looks pretty similar to colony 4 on the control. Colony 2 on this plate looks pretty similar to colony 2 on the control plate, and this bacteria is only seen a few times on the plate. Now, colony 3 looks like colony 1, but there's less growth on the Miss Meyers plate than there is in the control. Colony 4 also looks similar to colony 1, but it's only seen once on this plate. Now, lastly, colony 5 has a darker center and is seen mostly on the left side. This looks most similar to colony 7 or 8 of the control. Overall, there is less bacterial growth on this plate in comparison to the control plate, which tells me that the Miss Meyers cleaning solution did remove or destroy some bacteria. Okay, now lastly, I'm looking at the Lysol plate. So this is the swab that I did after I cleaned the floor with Lysol. As you can see, there's a significantly less amount of bacterial growth. It's kind of hard to tell because of all the mold, but I noticed that there only looks to be about 3 colonies in comparison to 8 from the control and 5 colonies in the Meyers. Colony 1 is small and pink and appears twice. It looks most similar to colony 2 on the control, but it's a little bit more vibrant of a pink. Colony 2 on this one looks most similar to colony 1 on the control, and it only appears twice on the plate. And colony 3, of course, is spread out pretty evenly on the plate. But anyway, I mean, I can tell that the Lysol wipes did a much better job at destroying bacteria than the Meyers solution. There's a significantly less amount of growth, and there's less colonies. So just an overview of the results again. Plate 1, which was the control plate, had the most bacterial growth. I would estimate that there were about 8 colonies. Again, could be more, could be less. Anyway, plate 2, the Miss Meyers, it showed a lot less growth than plate 1, but it showed a lot more than plate 3. I estimated that there were 5 colonies. Now, plate 3, that it was the Lysol plate, showed the least amount of bacterial growth, and there were only 3 colonies on this one. All right, so just to kind of go over the why is this happening? It's because there's an active ingredient in Lysol which is a very stable chemical. It's stable up to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's able to destroy 100 colonies of bacteria in 1 minute. Now, the ammonium compound in this, it consistently eliminates pathogenic microorganisms even just after 30 seconds. It eliminates antibiotic-resistant pathogens, and according to this one article written in 2002, both the Clorox and Lysol wipes inactivated all bacteria tested at a 30-second and 5-minute interval. Now, the reason why it might not have done that with my experiment is maybe I didn't wipe my surface down hard enough. Again, this was on my floor. I've got a dog. Maybe it's a little bit more dirty. I could have used a little bit more. But again, I think it did a pretty good job of eliminating most of the bacteria.